Well, it's great right now to have someone who hasn't been on with us for a while, Dr. Lisa Curcio of Breastlink. Welcome back. I mean, we do see you. We put up some segments that you're here, but great to have you here.
It's great to be back. And
Yeah.
right before the holidays.
Right before the holidays. Over the years, when you've talked about breast cancer and just cancer in general, one of the underlying factors is, of course, people's diet. I mean, there are other factors as well, but that's a main one. And as we get into the holidays, yes, people maybe go off their regular schedule for a couple weeks, that's fine. But in general, you want to talk about just a healthy eating lifestyle, right?
Right. Well, we've always said, and now there's data to actually support the fact that diet does play a role in cancer causation. How big of a role depends on a lot of other factors, but it is one of the multitude of factors that can increase your risk for cancer. And one of the things that I think I've tried to emphasize when I've spoken here in the past is it really shouldn't be a diet per se or a fad.
You're absolutely
but
right.
it really should be a lifestyle.
Yeah. And I think that's what happens. People get caught up in a diet,
Right.
and which is a negative word. I
Right.
mean, it is, instead of just changing their lifestyle. And if they
Correct.
approach it that way, it's really much easier, isn't it?
Exactly. Because when you're on a diet, then you can go off the diet or you could cheat on the diet. But when you're choosing a lifestyle, these are the choices that you want to make for the rest of your life to be healthier. So it really gives you more commitment to eating a healthier diet.
Yeah. What are some of the things that people can do as far as, a lot of times you don't want a New Year's resolution because that's like a diet as well.
Exactly.
You've got to just say, right now, saying, you know what, the holidays are coming, I'll have a few days of overindulging, but let's start my lifestyle change with my eating habits right now.
Right. I think the big thing is, number one, is self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Okay, we are who we are, and we're not likely going to be looking like a model on some magazine cover. So accepting who we are, and then trying to make ourselves the healthiest we can possibly be. And like we said, really adopting lifestyle changes. I think it's really unrealistic to want to go on a diet or try to lose weight over the holidays. There's just too many temptations. I think what's more realistic, and we actually at one point in my office had a course on how to just not gain weight over the holidays, because most people gain 2 to 5 pounds over the holiday season, which over time really adds up.
Yeah.
So, just with the goal of not gaining weight and following a healthy lifestyle and increasing exercise so that any indiscretions that you might have in your lifestyle choices get negated by other meals where you're really eating healthy and you're increasing your exercise.
Right. So let's talk about eating, meat, fish, poultry, that sort of thing. We've often heard, well, eat more fish than you do poultry, eat more poultry than you do red meat. One of the difficult things, especially with fish, is where it comes from.
Right.
Does it have other things in it that you don't want, depending if it was farm raised or somewhere in an area of the world where it's known that the waters are kind of polluted. And you can go online and Seafood Watch and all this and find that out. But it is a little bit more difficult. However, those three things, tell us about your take on that.
Well, I think the healthiest diet is a diet actually that focuses predominantly on plants. So a diet that has lots of rich and colorful fruits and vegetables is your healthiest diet. And what people don't realize is there actually is protein in fruits and vegetables.
Right.
They always feel like, well, I have to have some kind of protein in addition. And protein is fine, whether it's red meat, whether it's poultry, or whether it's fish. And fish does provide some benefits in terms of the alpha omega exposure that you get, but you have to be concerned about other exposures and be very careful where your fish actually comes from. But I think what's thought to be necessary protein portion is over-exaggerated in our American westernized diet.
Right.
I think it's really just a small serving of, whether it's red meat, white meat, or fish, is adequate, and really focusing 2/3 of your plate with fruits and vegetables.
Okay. What about, you've talked about nutrition in the past before, what you might call a superfood, beets, sweet potatoes, things
Sure.
like that. Even now, I've recently, in fact, I've read this over and over again, the benefits of coffee seem just to be, I mean, it's something that's coming out like it's almost astronomical. But are there superfoods? Are there, or is it more about, no, just balance?
I think it's balance.
Okay.
I really think it's balance. And I think that we shouldn't supplement superfoods with some little pill or powder.
Right.
I think we really need to get it from the natural source. The natural source provides the vitamins in the purest form,
Yeah.
and it gives us fiber in addition, which is so healthy and so important for prevention of things like colon cancer.
And what we're seeing today compared to years ago, and what I mean, I grew up in the 60s, and I think a lot of times kids who grew up then did not like vegetables and all because, let's face it, they were cooked to death. You know, your mom would buy frozen vegetables, which are already cooked. Nothing wrong with frozen vegetables, but then the package would say, cooked for 20 minutes,
Right.
and, you know.
Right.
It's very different nowadays. And they're much easier to get, fresh vegetables, than what they were 20, 30 years ago. I mean, really, there are things you find in just your normal grocery store now you wouldn't have seen
Absolutely.
years ago.
Absolutely.
You might have saw in frozen form, but that was it.
Right. And I think we're blessed here in California too,
Yeah.
because there's always a farmer's market, you know, within
Yeah.
a couple miles of your home where you can get actually freshly picked fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
And you know, the truth be told, fruits and vegetables are in their purest form in the raw state
Yes.
and uncooked.
Yeah.
And that's really the best way. I mean, for some people, they won't eat them in that form, so you know, you lightly steam them or gently saute them
Yeah.
and cook them in a healthy fashion, but try not to overcook them like
Right.
we did in days gone by.
One of the things you wrote down here is, should you drink beverages during a meal? I always do. I mean, it may be water, probably half the time it's water,
Right.
but
And that's the healthiest thing.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is drinking water during a meal makes you full quicker, and you don't eat as much.
interesting. That's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
Yes, it really makes you your satiety center trigger quicker.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, usually it's water. And coffee in the morning, but you know,
Right.
that's the way it
And
is.
there you get your good benefit from
You get your good
coffee.
benefit from the coffee. We got like 1 minute left. Do you have any sort of parting thoughts for the holidays coming up here?
I think the biggest thing is be realistic with what
Yeah.
your goals are through the holidays, and the goal would be try not to gain weight over the holidays. And if you have your indiscretions, not cheating on diet, but your indiscretions of your lifestyle, then you just try to negate that with eating other meals healthy and increasing your exercise.
Yeah, very good. And I love the fact that we're getting rid of the word diet.
Yes, lifestyle.
Yes, lifestyle. That's what it should be. Always good to see you. Hope to see you again soon,
you.
live here.
Thank you.
We love when you come by. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.